This Saturday is the 2020 home opener. However, it will be the first match of many this season in which we don't have the Venezuelan Viper leading the attack. How do we set up to get 3 points? We discuss next.
What's going on, Five Track fam? I'm AJ and this is Mark. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy neighborhood pub you should definitely check out for your next Atlanta United watch party. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. They also have trivia nights, board games, darts, a great place to just chill and enjoy yourself. Check out Thinking Man Tavern. Welcome to the match preview. I'm sure we're all reeling still from the news of Josef Martinez's injury, but the show must go on. And yes, it's a return to Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yep.
Finally, it feels like maybe 5 or 6 months, even like half a year. It feels like forever.
Yeah, and I mean the team has changed a lot since the last time we were at the Benz. No more Julian Gressel, no more Leandro Gonzalez-Perez, no more Darlington Nagbe, and of course now no Josef Martinez for the 2020 season.
Right, and it seems like a very familiar fixture to start a season as well.
Yeah.
Almost deja vu, FC Cincinnati again.
Yeah, one that we struggled with last season.
We did, but they eventually became the wooden spoon winner, unfortunately, of the 2019 season.
Yeah.
And didn't have a really good inaugural season overall.
Nope.
But it is, they've made some changes and they look to have a better season this year.
Yeah.
But in terms of starting off in preseason, it didn't really go all that quite well for them. In terms of their manager, he got ousted pretty quickly for a little bit of some indiscretions in saying some things.
Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster of a situation as well, and I think the way it played out was disheartening to say the least, and actually quite concerning. I mean, seems to be a bit of misinformation put out by the club. The MLS Players Association did an investigation and found out that there were incidents going back to last season, and for that situation to be going on for that long, I am concerned for the players or staff maybe who had to deal with that, who maybe felt uncomfortable, who maybe didn't feel heard by upper management, because that coach was allowed to stay in place.
Yeah, Ron Johns, I mean, it is, I mean, I think probably justified that he was let go.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it brings a little bit of maybe some kind of just instability for them in the interim, because they're still trying to find a permanent head coach.
And it's a bit of a shame because I mean they had some big transfers. I think the roster at least certainly improved, and they're looking to have a better season. I mean, it really seems like there's no way to go from up for where they were in 2019, but again, that's not a good start.
Right, definitely not. But they've made some big transfers. One of them being Jurgen Locadia. Yeah. Pretty big transfer for FC Cincinnati.
I mean, 2 years ago, Brighton of the Premier League paid $20 million in the winter transfer window for him. Now, he struggled for playing time there. He went on loan to Hoffenheim in Bundesliga and still struggled for playing time a bit. I think his numbers in the playing time he's gotten are okay in terms of goals and assists. He's just looking for consistent playing time, I think, to really show what he can do.
Right. But in terms of their preseason, they had a pretty decent preseason in terms of wins and losses. 3 wins and 2 losses and 1 draw. For us, for Atlanta United, we had that 3 win and 2 draw, and then we lose a penalty shootout kind of type of preseason. But and then of course for their first match though, they played the New York Red Bulls. They lost 3-2, and I mean, I think it seemed like the comeback maybe was on for them, and they got an assist from an old friend in Brandon Vasquez.
Right.
But in terms of at the end of the day, they didn't get the 3 points, unfortunately for them. But for us, we did of course, win the game against Nashville SC.
Right.
And that's really, I mean, I think we really showed out against Nashville. And
yeah, in terms
showed some large away numbers for sure.
Right, yeah, that's it felt familiar. It felt like a home. I know where we were sitting in particular. I didn't see any Nashville fans in our section. So
no, I saw like maybe one little salt of a Nashville fan, but really other than that, we were absolutely surrounded.
Yeah.
But yeah, and of course we drew that first Champions League match and then won our second one against Motagua.
Right.
But yeah, and so we're on a decent run. It's just now going to be a very, very stark and different look for sure for Atlanta United.
Yeah, and going back to that Nashville game real quick, not only did we lose Josef, but Franco Escobar limped off at halftime, and as far as we know, he has not trained since. So, we did win, but at what cost? A large cost.
Indeed, indeed. But so yeah, after Jan's resignation, going to FC Cincinnati and talking about what they're trying to get through in terms of maybe timeline for a new head coach. Yeah, they're kind of still unsure. They are trying to figure out what their actual plan is, and so. Yeah, their general manager at Nijkamp is still trying to figure out stuff, and their president Jeff Bending. Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that I think will affect the way they actually play because of if they really lack an identity from the top to bottom, then I think whether you have talented players or not, it will affect things.
Right. But, I think to that respect, they did try to keep the rest of the coaching staff together. They try to keep as much continuity, I think, as much as possible. Because to have an upheaval at this stage in the season would not be good for them. I think given how the situation played out with John, and then even before the coach before that, he wasn't given very much time before he was let go. And so I think they're trying to be patient, trying to make sure they find the right guy, a guy who fits their culture and also has a playing style that they want going forward.
Right. And so, talking about headlining their really busy offseason, we talked about Locadia, also Yuya Kubo and Siem de Jong. Also came in, and I mean they added 10 players and they moved on 13 players. That's almost like a roster of people like we did.
Right. Yeah.
So
almost.
Pretty much. And so we were second from the or second most for the turnover in the team.
Right.
Yeah, they're definitely up there as well.
Right.
But in terms of a match fact that's interesting in this is that FC Cincinnati, they've failed to win 14 of their last 15 matches in MLS. That doesn't bode well for them, obviously, in this. Bodes great for us, for sure. And in terms of their away record last year, it was 3 wins, 3 draws, and 11 losses for a grand total of 12 points only and a negative 23 goal difference. They weren't really that much better at home either.
Right, like we mentioned before, they were a pretty bad team.
Yeah, they got the wooden spoon for a reason. And Atlanta United at home, we were second, or no, we were top in the East in terms of points. We were 12 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses only, with a goal difference of 22. So we were pretty prolific at home. So in terms of that, let's get into some of the players to watch for FC Cincinnati. Another one of those guys that is influential for them. Definitely is Adrian Regatten. He's a midfielder, a depth passer, and maybe their set piece taker as well. Creates a lot of their chances.
Right.
Alan Cruz, their top goal scorer, midfielder, 7 goals, 7 assists in 22 matches in 2019. You have
Emmanuel Ledesma. He also had 6 goals and 6 assists from midfield in 28 matches, so they'll be looking to him to contribute to the attack as well. Of course, we mentioned Jurgen Locadia. He actually came off the bench. He would join them late because of visa issues, and they were another team that had visa issues. So I think it was a league-wide issue to a degree. But yeah, Jurgen Kade came off the bench, scored, and so he did make a contribution in his first appearance, and maybe he gets a start against us.
Right, and he is a guy that is a set-piece threat. So we will look to see what he will be doing for sure in the box. Another guy that we should be really keeping an eye on the box, especially during set pieces, is a Kendall Waston, their captain. Definitely a guy that, has brought some trouble when we were, trying to defend a set piece, but also, it had some really funny moments at the bends as well with the red card for sure.
Maybe hopefully
he didn't even realize it was his.
Right? Yeah. Maybe he'll pick one up this match. Maybe.
That would work out great for us, hopefully. We need all the luck we can get right now.
Right.
And of course, we have some old friends in Greg Garza, the left back. He got a really nice ovation last time at the Benz. And then Brandon Vasquez, who I'm sure no doubt will also get a nice ovation if he comes on or if he starts.
And Vasquez had an assist in their last match as well.
Right. But of course, for Atlanta United, our biggest stars at the moment are PT Martinez, who had 7 goals and 11 assists in 2019 in all competitions. Ezequiel Barco, 4 goals in all competitions in 26 matches. And then, we have Fernando Mesa, who has replaced an LGP, kind of is more of the experienced guy in the back line, who is really, I think, is the lone guy holding it down so far.
Listen, and he was fantastic against Nashville, especially in the second half when we were up against it. I mean, he was just putting out fires left and right. And I think he's going to probably need to have that kind of performance against Cincinnati and really just going forward. Barco scored a wonderful goal against Nashville. Hopefully we see more of that going forward. And so,
but getting into some of the injury report, FC Cincinnati don't have any injured players, and that's great for them. They're very lucky right now. Also a suspension from last year, winger Joseph Claude Guillot. He missed Sunday's game against the New York Red Bulls because of a red card in the 2019 season finale against DC United, but he will be available. Now for LA United, we of course have Josef Martinez with the ACL. Edgar Castillo has returned to training, and so that's great news. George Bello has also as well. He played for LA United 2 over the weekend.
No sign of Miles Robinson training, however. No sign of Franco Escobar training, like I mentioned before. Josetu, he had that appointment at the embassy in Brazil on Friday, but has still not been seen in training. And
neither has Manuel Castro. His visa has been approved, but he hasn't joined the team yet. I don't even know if he's met Frank de Boer yet.
Is he real? Is this a catfish situation?
Exactly right. It very well could be. But anyway, so let's get into what the lineup looked like for FC Cincinnati last week. You had Spencer Rishi in between the sticks, De Plongna and Michael Van der Werf. And Kendall Waston and Greg Garza filling out that back line. It looked like it was a 4-1-4-1.
Right.
Haris Maduyanin in between the lines there as that defensive midfielder most likely. And Adrian Regan, Alan Cruz, Frankie Amaya, and Yuya Kubo kind of filled out that midfield for sure.
And of course Vasquez up top.
Right, and so, it's probably, we'll see if Vasquez does start again, although, he probably is more fit than Locadia maybe, and so, he very well could start against us. And, even though we, exposed him to the draft, it is one of those things where will he have a chip on his shoulder to prove something to LA United, or allowing him to be exposed?
I mean, I wonder how the front office or some fans feel about him being on another team now that Josef is out long term, you know?
Yeah, he definitely could have been an option if he was on this team for sure. He did perform pretty admirably, especially in the U.S. Open Cup run.
Right.
So he, definitely was, if anything, very useful for us as well. But in terms of how FC Cincinnati could play, seems like they're more of a counter-attack team. They lack maybe the ability to really keep possession of the ball very, very well. And in terms of, they will win some aerial duels anytime you have Waston in your team.
Right.
That will be a advantage for you for sure. It seems like they might be just a little bit more of a defensive type of team, but when they get their chances, they really will take their chances with some efficiency. So
and I mean, you have someone like Majuninen, who another acquisition from them, came over from the Union. He can he's a type of deep lying playmaker. He can find those balls over the top through the lines. Majuninen, when he played with the Union last season, he actually played pretty well at the bends, and so it'll be interesting to see. I'll be looking at him for sure to see what kind of impact he has on how they play.
Right. And so in terms of our keys to the game, I mean, I think the biggest one obviously is how we cope without Josef Martinez.
Right.
And so that plays right into how and who will finish off these chances.
Yep.
And if it is an Adam John who starts up top, the service has to be, I think, on point.
Right.
He's that type of guy that won't be running in behind as much. You'll be finding his meaty forehead probably as much as possible.
Hopefully,
more so. And
once again, the back line has changes, and looks like we're gonna have to run out another makeshift back line. And so it's a matter of how do they perform. What kind of chemistry will they have? We'll just have to see.
Exactly. And I mean, in terms of how we've been playing, we've been incisive through the middle. We've been using that attacking skill and really making sure that it's our individual skill that's kind of creating our chances. And one big guy out of that is Josef Martinez, who was, I think, very vital in that kind of newfound partnership almost with PT Martinez.
Right.
They've been linking up very, very well, and that will be gone. It will be really interesting to see how PT Martinez responds to all this, and really all what the lineup's going to be for sure as well. But
right. Yeah. I mean, I will say, Cincinnati, they had an inauspicious start last week against Red Bulls. Quickly allowed 2 goals, and so it's a case where, I think if we can jump on them early, we can maybe create some opportunities. And one thing I will say too is they don't necessarily know how we'll line up either. I think in the past, you key on Josef Martinez and go from there. Who do you key on now? Who's going to play up top? What will the shape be? I mean, these are questions that they really won't find out until Saturday night. And so maybe that's something that Eleni United can take advantage of, especially early on in the match.
Right. But let's get into our predicted starting 11. Obviously, Guzan between the sticks.
Yep.
Now we have a slightly different back line, so I'll let you go first, man.
Yeah, no problem. So with Escobar out, I think Campbell slots in at right center back. I think Mesa and Walks retain their positions at the middle and left center back respectively. It's tough.
It's slim pickings right now.
It really is slim pickings, and I'm gutted, particularly for Escobar, because I think he's done a really good job of breaking the line, starting attacks, and so it'll be interesting to see how they get on without that. But I just think Campbell, I liked what I saw in preseason. I am a little surprised he didn't come in versus Nashville.
Yeah, he wasn't even part of the 18, which is very interesting. I think he did travel, I think, maybe as that extra guy. But in terms of, Campbell not even playing a part, that's kind of why I don't have him in the back line. Maybe lacks a bit of that experience that maybe Frank de Boer is really craving at this moment. Maybe he will eventually get the seasoning that he wants and requires out of a center back. So for me, I think it's Walks as that right center back. Larry drops into the middle, and then Mesa as that left center back. And getting into the wing backs, I think that's if we do play with a 3-man back line, then we're playing with wing backs. Lennon, Mulroney are the wing backs. They both, I think, did fairly well with some pretty decent service in the Nashville match.
Yeah, not to mention Mulroney with a nice little nutmeg.
Indeed. And so in terms of the midfield, for me, it's Hyndman and Remedi. They persist. They've been doing quite well. Yours, a little bit different?
Yeah, so this is where the shape is a little bit different for me. So I have Hyndman and Remedi as well, and I do have Larry coming in to the midfield as well. And so, yeah, I do think ultimately be a 3-5-2, proper three-man midfield. You know, I think that's where we look to control the game, dominate the game, so to speak. I think, you know, even without Josef Martinez, I do think that we would be expected to dominate possession. I think Cincinnati will sit back a bit, and so I think that's where maybe we can take advantage of that.
Yeah, and then for me, the attacking midfielders are Barco and Pity. I think we need to obviously see how they will operate together without Josef Martinez, and also kind of in preparation for the CCL match. So, I mean, not to jump ahead here, but I think it's John up top. To kind of really see and kind of experiment of, you know, we saw a little bit against Nashville. It was, the link-up play was pretty decent, but at least I think in the runs in behind, Adam John lacks that pace, obviously, so he wasn't able to get on the end of anything in the box. And so it's just, how do we move, you know, kind of closer into the box for that final ball so that, he doesn't have to, you know, run from 35 yards out to try to score a goal. So,
And for me, the two up top are Barco and PT. And so, like I said before, I think it's 3-5-2. I think I could see John. I do expect him to come into this match. I just don't think that he has 60-plus minutes in him necessarily. So, if anything, if we are struggling for goals, or even if we're not, I think at some point John will come in and get 25-30 minutes. But I'm curious to see how Barco and PT link with the midfield, you know, and then, you know, we're going to need runners from midfield as well. So, like a Hyndman getting forward, a Mulroney getting forward, maybe a Brooks Lennon even getting forward a bit. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what this attack looks like without Josef.
Right. And so, of course, with all that said, I mean, no one probably is going to get what Frank de Boer is going to do absolutely right at all, because, I mean, I'm sure he's still trying to figure out a little bit.
Right.
I mean, he's still reeling a little bit from such a big loss in Josef Martinez. But in terms of what we would like to see the team do in this game, I think for me, it's find the right service for Adam John. Obviously, like I mentioned before, like you were mentioning, get players in the box.
Get players in the box. I mean, when John is in there, yes, get service to him. But either way, we definitely need runners in the box more than ever.
All right, and then also gaining chemistry with a new player in the attack, for me anyway, with Adam John. And then I think definitely also chemistry at the back. I think is, I mean, they haven't played together probably whichever combination, not a ton anyway. Probably in your predicted 11, probably a little bit more, so at least they had that preseason match.
Right, Campbell coming in,
But and I think also if Husetu can play, then hopefully he gets a run out, because it is someone that, I mean, I think we're all looking forward to seeing him play a part in this team, because he showed that technical skill. He showed that ice cold ability in front of goal. I think we want to see more of that.
Actually, and you know, if he had already been with the team earlier, I'd actually have him starting this match, just slotting into the middle. But you know, like, he's probably not going to start, but hopefully we see him soon, because what we saw in preseason was pretty good.
Pretty tasty indeed. But let's get into the odds for this match according to Bet365. Cincinnati has a 12.5% chance of winning this match, apparently. And a draw is at 19%. So that overwhelmingly makes Atlanta United at 75.2% chance of, betting odds winning this game. So with all of that information said, what's your score prediction?
I got 2-1. I think we grind one out. I think, maybe Cincinnati get one off a set piece. We saw that last week, and I could see it happening again. I mean, like, you know, we haven't been particularly convincing of that yet, in terms of set piece defending, that is. But I still think that we are creative players, you know, have those individual moments. I think we get the job done. 2-1 for me.
I think it's 1-0 to Atlanta United. I think it's definitely yeah, it'll be maybe pretty good of a feat, I think, if we get a clean sheet, especially with a makeshift back line. But I'm just unsure that FC Cincinnati have the goods to figure out anything at the Benz. They have been so just maybe calamitous on the road. And us, we're still trying to figure out our attacks, so I don't think we scored as many. But I think, of course, if I say that and we're gonna score like, it's gonna be like a 4-2 game or something like that.
Right. Hey, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I think we'll need goal difference as much as possible. So if we can get a little +2 here and there, that'll be great. But anyway, that's pretty much our match preview. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. But remember to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And for Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.